Welcome to Chicago, Illinois. Tonight we're in the historic Marina City Complex on the Chicago River at the House of Blues. Hello, everyone. I'm Krista Voda. Before they go green at Chicagoland Speedway this Sunday, the 12 drivers who make up this year's NASCAR chase for the Sprint Cup field will assemble on one stage for one night, and this is that night. It is an opportunity to talk to the fans and size up the competition. There are 26 races in the regular season, and once again, it went down to the very last race to find out who was in and who was out. Let's take a look back at 2012 so far and how the top dozen was determined.
Called it, man. It's raining now.
It's all over. Jeff Gordon is the winner of the Pennsylvania 400.
The way our season's gone, we'll take it any way we can get it.
Jeff Gordon wins the second wild card by just 3 points.
Casey Kane, the victor here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
His first win for Rick Hendrick.
Woo! Congratulations, buddy. Thanks, Mr. Hendrick.
Martin Truex Jr. leading the race with 33 laps to go.
Army struggled all year long. They've got it turned around the right direction. Maybe they're peaking at the right time.
Here they come off turn 4 for the final time. Dale Earnhardt Jr. appeals to the outside, can't make it happen. Van Kenseth is going to win.
We're going to win the Daytona 500 again!
Finally, Dale Earnhardt Jr. snaps that dry spell, winning today at Michigan.
Sure, we won. Yeah, I double-checked it. We really won it. Man, I know you guys have been waiting on that one. I know I have.
Clint Boyer, he's just a turn away from a win, but here comes Tony Stewart. And Clint Boyer will flash past the start-finish line, and he'll win the Toyota St. Mark 350. Here comes Biffle. He's going to take the lead away from Jimmy Johnson.
Good night.
Looks like Greg Biffle will now own a pair of cowboy hats.
Brad Keselowski is going to win for the second straight time here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Yeah!
And for the first time since 1976, a Dodge wins at Talladega Superspeedway.
Right now, Keselowski is gone. It's jackpot time. Tony Stewart will claim his first win.
Hell yeah, boys! Yeah! Hell yeah, bro!
Finally, Jimmy Johnson gets it done,
200!
scoring the 200th Sprint Cup win for Hendrick Motorsports.
God, I love this place! Sucker up, boys! Ready to kiss the bricks! Man, it feels good to be competitive again.
Denny Hamlin has won here at the Phoenix International Raceway.
Jeff Gordon works the high side, but Denny Hamlin will win.
Got yourself a win in Atlanta, buddy. Boom! Boom!
Tonight there will be 13 people on stage, 12 NASCAR drivers, and Chris Myers. I kid because I care, of course. Can I say that? I've always wanted to say that.
You can. You delivered it well. At least I got us the rental car, so I'm contributing. Yeah, sort of a driver. It's good to see you here. What a great scene at the House of Blues in Chicago. Getting ready to launch the chase.
It's fantastic. NASCAR on Fox host Chris Myers will be on stage interviewing the drivers. What are we going to see with this special and unique event?
Well, first time, it's almost like a weigh-in for boxers, except you have 12 guys that are all here without their cars, which is usually what they rely on to get it done, and will once the chase actually starts. So, we're going to ask them questions about strategy, and we'll see how candid they are about handling each other, who they can lean on in certain situations, and how in the big finish, what the mindset is. Mind games have been played in the past, so is it okay to be the favorite, the top seed? Top seed has only won this twice, I think. This is the ninth chase. Or is it better to be a guy who comes in, as the last entry and kind of hot on a roll like Jeff Gordon?
Okay, well, you're going to do the hard work, the heavy lifting up on stage. We're going to take a look at the 10 races that make up the chase. Starting Sunday in nearby Joliet at the Chicagoland Speedway. Then consecutive 1-mile ovals, the flat version in Loudon, New Hampshire, the high-banked version in Dover, Delaware. Charlotte Motor Speedway hosts the only night race. Kansas Speedway has been repaved and reconfigured since the Sprint Cup Series race there in April. Martinsville is the one and only short track in the chase, and it all culminates on November 18th in Homestead, Florida. Now the 12 chase drivers are being introduced one by one to a pumped-up audience. Hendrick Motorsports has all 4 teams in this chase. Can Tony Stewart go back-to-back? Will Bad Brad score the first NASCAR Sprint Cup title for Roger Penske? Kevin Harvick has reteamed with crew chief Gil Martin. Will that produce magic for RCR? Welcome to the chase, Michael Waltrip Racing, with teammates Martin Truex and Clint Boyer. Matt Kenseth and teammate Greg Biffle carry the hopes for Roush Fenway Racing. Or is it time for Joe Gibbs? Denny Hamlin is the top seed. They're all here, 12 drivers, 1 stage, 1 special night. Stay tuned for more NASCAR Contenders Live.
The nation.
Welcome back to Chicago and NASCAR Contenders Live. The 2012 chase for the Sprint Cup begins this Sunday at the Chicagoland Speedway. One of 5 intermediate tracks measuring 1.5 miles, sure to set the tone of how this chase will play out. The New Hampshire Motor Speedway hosts round 2 of the chase, a 1-mile flat track sure to produce an exciting race. Then on September 30th, the chase battle moves to the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware. 3 unique tracks offering 3 unique challenges. To finish well in the chase, you must have a strong start.
You're at Chicagoland Speedway.
This is what we've been waiting for all year. 10 races to go, guys. Leave it all out there.
12 drivers looking to take the first step in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup green flag at Chicagoland.
You can't win this championship here today, but you sure could make it an uphill battle.
Tony Stewart right now just trying to get as good a gas mileage as he can, not run out of fuel.
We should have enough to get there. Save us gas, bud. It's out. We're done, guys. Come running out. My God, boys. I believe we're going to get us one here.
Tony Stewart, he waits until the first race of the chase to get victory number 1.
New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Kurt Busch sees the checkered flag and begins his chase for the Nextel Cup with a victory.
Greg Biffle drives into contention for the 2008 Sprint Cup Championship.
We got 9 races left. We can win this championship. So let's win on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Take a deep breath. I got this. That's right, boys. 2 in a row.
We'll have a lot of action going on here at Dover this afternoon.
Here's Greg Biffle looking for the checkered flags after winning his first race of the year last week in New Hampshire.
Some of the chase guys, if you take all the guys that are in that and look as far as finishes here, there's about 8 of the guys that have had pretty good luck here. But the other 4, just kind of mediocre at best. This has just not been their racetrack.
Great to see you guys, and thanks very much. Brad, everybody getting along all right backstage? No?
You're asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
What are you trying to say?
I'm all right. Matt,
I think we're all good friends.
All right. Kevin, does that change when we get to the chase?
I was just wondering what the question was to Brad.
Okay.
I'm not sure I know.
All right, Tony, we're starting strong. Chicago, New Hampshire, Dover. You started strong last year, the defending champ, of course. 3-time champion. I guess everybody's even, right? When we start here, is that how you approach it? Or is this first race in the chase, you have a little strategy lined up?
Well, you pretty much approach it like you do any other week. I mean, it's the theory is the higher you finish, the more points you get. Still, it never has changed. So you pretty much approach it the same and go out and do everything you can to win the race. You know, the difference of winning the championship was 1 point. So do everything you can to get every single point you can get, and you're going to have to do that for 10 weeks.
Even wrecking your mother, I think, or somebody else's mother, right?
I was aiming for you, but I had to settle for my mom.
He was aiming for me in the parking lot. I had to kind of weave through people. Denny, you've been through, what do you take mentally from the previous experience? How much is experience in the chase an advantage?
I mean, I think it's a little bit important, but fast cars and good luck is really outweighs any experience, in my opinion. But really, it's it's about, for me, having more fun than I had in 2010. I think, I was so serious and so concentrated on every single race and over-analyzing everything that I didn't enjoy the moment in which I was in. So definitely going to have a lot more fun this time around.
With 4 Hendrick drivers in the chase of the 12, how much is the teamwork an advantage in this specific situation? Or is it?
Yeah, I think we'll still share a lot of information. The debriefs will be a lot shorter, but everybody will be like, man, I got nothing. But
just for me.
Yeah. It's an open book. If I need to know what's going on or if I need some help or I'm in a bad spot, them guys are gonna want to help. But we race each other for wins on the racetrack.
And Jeff obviously getting in just under the wire, 4-time champion. What does momentum help when you get into something like this?
We certainly have some momentum on our side, which has been unusual for us this year. We haven't had much to build on. We've had great race cars, but not great results. And we certainly haven't done it back-to-back or 3 in a row. So to have 3 great finishes in a row, and, of course, that epic battle on Saturday night to get in was something that definitely has boosted our confidence.
Clint Boyer in a Toyota. Yes, and you won the race, but all the talk was about, Jeff getting in here. Is this...
Story of my life.
And what about Greg Biffle, right? I mean, a guy leads in points, and it's like, how much... Yeah, you guys, do you have to be outspoken, have a personality to get more attention? Is it all about
As
winning?
long as Jeff Gordon's in the race and racing for a bubble, it doesn't matter. You can say whatever you want.
Bring it on, Clint. I love it. I love it, man. I love using you as motivation.
Yes.
You see, they really do get along. Greg, the only guy, by the way, has a chance. Greg Biffle, of course, has won the Truck Championship and the Nationwide Busch Series. If he wins the Cup Championship, first time in history something like that's been done. I'm sure that's in the back of your mind.
I think we can come into the chase and keep doing what we're doing and hopefully win some of these races. We should be able to make a run at the end.
Matt, how important is this first race, given where you are in the standings, and how much do you watch where the other guys are?
It was nice to start off with some momentum. As you've seen, Tony last year, it seemed like from the outside watching the races and stuff, he didn't have a lot of confidence, I don't think, going into the first chase race. He won the first 2 races, and then you could just see the confidence building, and they knew that they were going to be contenders. So I think it's always nice to get off to a good start and try to get a good finish first week.
I noticed you mentioned Tony backstage. Matt asked me if there was an extra helmet he could throw, but I'm kidding. Go Packers. Okay, this is a Bears crowd, I know. So Kevin, there's no chance for retaliation in these races, right? These are for the chase. You just have to focus going forward.
Just go about your business. So I'm just glad you're talking about somebody else and not me. So.
No, well, you are a 2-time winner in Chicago. You've had success there.
Yeah, it's been.
What does it take to win on this track for the fans? What should they be looking for?
Yeah, well, it's been a good racetrack for us over the years. We had a good finish here last year, so we're looking to keep that momentum going and try to get where we need to be, as we start the weekend. So hopefully it all goes well.
Let's, Casey, for you, moving on, we talked about these first 3. New Hampshire, earlier this year, you had some success there, and before, it wasn't so much that you made adjustments. You feel good. That's obviously part of this early picture. Talk about your strategy there.
Yeah, I just feel like we came from a long ways back early in the season, and as a team, we keep getting better together. Kind of first year with Hendrick Motorsports, so there's some things I learned along the way, and I just think we're as good as we've been to this point of the season, and some of these tracks really kind of suit my driving, and I think the way the cars run and stuff for us, I think it'll be good for all 4 of our Hendrick cars throughout the whole 10 races.
We ran really well there earlier in the season, so it's certainly one of my tracks. I think between Dover and Martinsville are 2 of the tracks that I would have highlighted. Unfortunately, Jimmy Johnson, I think, has them highlighted as well, so going to be interesting at those tracks. But I think you got to be good at all of them, and the ones that you're not, you got to battle and fight for everything you can to get the best position at those races.
Yeah, sure. We're on cable, by the way.
Have you decided what mustache you're going with yet?
Obviously, it's going to be gray. I know that. That's a given.
That's how averaging run a plus 40 class.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Wow.
It's not going to look like that, I can tell you. It took me about 10 years to grow that one.
You're watching NASCAR Contenders live from the House of Blues in Chicago.
Our children.
Welcome back to the House of Blues and NASCAR Contenders Live. The 4 races in the middle of the chase present an extreme challenge for the 12 drivers. On October 7th, it's Big Bad Talladega, 2.66 miles of close restrictor plate racing. Race 5 is the only night race of the chase at Charlotte Motor Speedway on October 13th. Then it's on to the newly repaved and newly reconfigured Kansas Speedway. Race 7 of the chase visits Martinsville Speedway, NASCAR's shortest track and the only short track of the chase schedule. By the time these 4 races are finished, we will know which drivers are still in the battle for contention.
Race number 4 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup.
Another 3 wide for the lead on the back straightaway.
Oh, that's Jimmy Johnson.
Backing up.
Harvick is in it, one of the championship drivers.
Ryan Newman up and over off the end of the back straightaway.
It's the only night race in the chase at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Jimmy Johnson, sideways. What a hard hit.
5-time, probably won't be 6-time this year.
Nice, hot, slick track here at Kansas. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Kevin Harvick, championship leader, not really a factor for much of the race.
Thing to tell you is we better get on that little computer and figure something out fast. It's smoking right now.
Huge moment for Jeff Gordon's championship.
Season high, 7th win of the year. Denny Hamlin wins.
Back, baby.
And the main thing the drivers and the teams, they have to worry about is keeping 2 components cool in that car. One is brakes, and the other is tempers. Here at Martinsville Speedway.
I've seen some gutsy runs, but that one right there, this is incredible.
Yeah.
You're 8 points back of Carl Edwards with 3 to go, man. We have a championship battle in the making.
He better be worried. That's all I got to say. He ain't going to have an easy 3 weeks.
And Tony, how much can you get into somebody's head mentally in the chase?
Ask Carl.
I would, but he's not here. So Talladega jumps out at me. So, Junior, let's talk a little bit about that place. And that's always kind of a wild card, right?
Yeah, it's a lottery. Like, literally. Yeah, I mean, if you want a shot at winning, you just kind of got to miss all the wrecks, especially the one on the last lap. Haven't been able to do that this year, but I don't know. It's probably the easiest race out of the whole deal because you don't have to really work. You just kind of sit there and turn the wheel, mash the gas.
What the
hell?
Clint, didn't you win? You won that last year, Clint, when you weren't in the chase, right? That was the fall, right? Didn't you win 2 in a row in the fall for you at Talladega?
Yeah.
And so that's why he's saying it's easy? Is that what he means?
No, it's just changed a lot, I think, over the years. It's not as quite. It's not.
That wheel's heavy. I'm telling you, it's heavy. Real heavy.
Just got to not wreck and be leading.
Kevin, what's your strategy in a restrictor plate race like that?
I'm pretty much on the same boat as these guys. Don't wreck. And we haven't been very good at that over the last couple of races. So, you know, it's just one of those deals where you try to keep yourself as close to the front as you can to hope for a chance, and even there you wind up wrecked.
And Charlotte in the race here, Jimmy, that's a place you've had great success, part of this string of races.
Charlotte?
Yeah,
Charlotte's a great track. You know, I think it's changed a lot over the years. The old surface, we had things worked out pretty well, and since it's been resurfaced, it's been kind of opened up, and I kind of lean towards Casey as being the favorite there of recent times. But it's a fun track. We all love to be home and put on a good show.
In the chase here, can you afford to take a conservative approach?
No, you can't be conservative, whether it's working on the cars or behind the wheel. When you have an opportunity to win, you've got to use it, man. You got to take it. So I know these guys do. I saw Tony do it last year, and that's what it's going to take. You have to be really aggressive when you have an opportunity to win and get the job done.
We have a question from a fan. This is from Margaret from Minnesota for Greg Biffle. She's part of their NASCAR fan council. And she wants to know, Greg, when the chase starts, are you going to drive for points early to avoid the big mistake or big wreck consistently, or can you be aggressive and go for the win?
I mean, after watching the chase last year, I don't think you can, points race. I mean, I think you have to go for every position you can and try and win, the races you can win. I don't believe with 10 races you can, take it easy in any of the 10.
Did Jimmy get in your head, or did we overplay that on the outside, Denny?
I mean, he didn't make our car run out of fuel in Phoenix, but in the Homestead, we're in 3-wide situation with Biffle, and spotter says 2 wide, and I was really 3 wide, so I wasn't thinking about my competitors at that time. So I think it's whoever's got the speed.
Okay.
Those are the guys who have the leg up mentally on the competition, is the guys who have speed.
Casey, you're still with us here, right?
Yeah, I'm enjoying this.
All right.
Listening to these guys.
Yeah, who does the most whining of you guys, by the way? What do you think? Speaking of a pass, nobody.
Jeff whines.
I definitely,
No doubt.
bitch the most. I call myself out.
If you don't get right at Jeff's way, it's like really? 5 minutes you hear the spot. 24's whining behind you because you're holding him up.
Yeah, isn't that where that 5 times got a problem? Isn't that where that came from? Was that?
Yeah, absolutely. It was all his fault. 100%.
Wow, nobody argued.
I taught him everything I know, so.
When NASCAR Contenders Live returns, we find out who's ready to close. A look ahead at the final 3 races of the chase. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the House of Blues in the historic Marina City Complex on the Chicago River. Tonight, all 12 drivers battling in the chase for the Sprint Cup have assembled on one stage with one thought in mind: winning the 2012 NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship.
I did want to mention, Tony and Darian Grubb, crew chiefs, they're behind the scenes. You guys always take care of your crew chiefs, and they help you do the job so well. We see him in the background. But Darian Grubb obviously is with you now, won a championship with Tony.
Thank you for that,
sir. And Tony, I thought you handled that well. Situations, we all have things behind the scenes. But you've had enough success to get back into this thing. Are you thinking at all about what Darian might be helping Denny with here in the chase that he knows about you?
No, because I got Greg Zipadelli from over at Gibbs, so I know what they're doing. So it's, you always evaluate and try to figure out what you can do to make things better. And like we mentioned at the end of the year, I mean, our decision was made before the chase even started. So, there were reasons that we got to that point and had made that decision. But, I knew when I heard that he was going to work with Denny, I knew they were going to be a good combination together because of how they approach things. So, and their track record this year speaks for itself.
And then the 4 wins, that's why you're the #1 seed. Maybe just help us out with what Darian has helped you with to get back to the top here.
One was the New Hampshire setup. That was good.
So we'll make a note of that.
No, but just, team leadership, I think, Tony can really speak to this. He's really in tune with the crew guys themselves. I think he gets the most out of those guys. I think he does a great job calling a race, although this weekend didn't go too well for us. But I don't know, he's just a great leader for our team. And really, this team that we have that built right now, I said before, Mike Ford built 80% of this race team. Darian just finished off the last 20.
What if you don't really like what the crew chief is telling you? What do you do, man?
Yeah, I mean, we got the steering wheel, so I guess it's our decision at the end of the day whether you bid or not or what you do, because I guess you're in control. So I like my crew chief that he's from Wisconsin. We had to go through a whole bunch of them because people usually can't understand me. So I guess I talk fast.
There you go.
Yeah, so he's the first one to understand me.
You talk fast?
Say, what'd you say?
That's why they don't understand, because you talk too fast?
Well, right now I'm trying really hard not to.
He's focusing. Junior, how about it? Your thought on the crew chief relationship, or what's important, or maybe?
Well, me and my guy, we get along good.
Steve Letarte, good year.
Yeah, we hang out. Have a good.
He'd be last, and Steve Letarte would be like, "Yeah, baby, we got something going. We're good."
Yeah.
He will find a positive in dead last.
He will. He will. A lot different than other guys.
My guy's like, "You're last, dummy. Get going."
It's still not good enough. But how we get along good. Everything's cool. Yeah, I mean, you guys got to be positive.
Yeah.
And he's got to be able to, make good changes. You got to get faster when you got a problem with the car in the race and you come down pit road. You want it fixed.
Tony, just a thought on crew chief and Jimmy, have you guys comment on the communication or what's key for you? And I guess if you're a more experienced driver, how that plays into the conversation.
The conversations with Steve and I are difficult because I can't hear him. So I'm deaf in one ear, can't hear on the other. So we have to keep things very simple with the way when we're talking during the race and just trying to hear him. But it's it's easy. I mean, it's just like the drivers at this level. The crew chiefs got to this level because they're good at what they do, and you don't get good with a crew chief without learning how to communicate with them. So it's pretty easy to deal with these guys. I mean, there's times when we all disagree on what we're going to do when we get there, but still, it's kind of like Matt said. I mean, we got the steering wheel in our hands, so we get some part of the decision-making process, but then when we get in the pit box, they get the rest of it.
Clint, is it different when you're in the chase, the crew chief? Do you feel their intensity go up a little bit?
Absolutely. Now, that's the thing that I was trying to, all these questions are about the chase. Everybody wants to know what's your plan, how are you going to beat the next guy and everything else. And the answer, I'm sorry, folks, we're going to do the exact same thing that got us here. It's not like I'm just going to start trying harder, and that's my plan at beating these guys. I forgot about that extra 10% that I have in reserve that I'm going to pull out.
Did you do too much 5-hour energy or something?
Yeah. I believe in my product, Mr. AARP. You need to start believing in yours. They have rest homes for this stuff. Always go to dinner with Jeff Gordon. Get a discount.
All right. Of course, you have to go before 4 o'clock, I think. Hungry for a win. Greg,
so that's our game plan for the chase.
I didn't want that. We didn't want that. We didn't care about that. I was asking about a crew chief.
Mine yells at me.
Okay, I know, and I can understand why.
At Sonoma, I actually told him, quit yelling at me. I'm trying. I'm trying. This is all I got.
That's fair enough.
Yes.
You're watching NASCAR Contenders Live on Speed. Welcome back to Chicago and NASCAR Contenders Live. For the 8th consecutive season, the chase concludes with 3 very unique tracks. November 4th at Texas Motor Speedway for a 500-miler. Then west for a visit to Phoenix International Raceway. And concluding on November 18th at Homestead. The pressure will rise, the competition will heat up. For driver and team, it's now all or nothing.
Texas Motor Speedway, cars are on the track.
They're going to hold you one lap. They said we sped. Said unsportsmanlike conduct. And we all work too hard for this. You're costing us.
Denny Hamlin takes the checkered flag. He gets the win and the point lead.
They're going to have to beat us now.
Why, Carl Edwards got into Dale Earnhardt Jr. Championship contender in trouble, crashing on the back straightaway. No, believe this. Here comes Carl Edwards. He breaks a 70-race winless streak.
Boys, that's the way to end the streak right there. Fast car, good mileage. Everybody made it on fuel. Is that what you tell me? You ended up 12th. You still have a 15-point lead.
Welcome to Homestead Miami Speedway. One final race for all the marbles.
Trouble here at Homestead for the championship leader, Kurt Busch.
Wow, loses a tire. Kurt Busch wins the title by 8 points over Jimmy Johnson.
The caution has just come out for championship contender Jimmy Johnson.
There's the end of his championship hopes right there.
Tony Stewart is the 2005 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series champion.
Jimmy Johnson is going to be the 2006 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series champion.
Jimmy Johnson makes history as a 3-time consecutive Sprint Cup champion.
You are looking at the 5-time champion. You're kidding me! Yeah!
one of the greatest championship drives in NASCAR history.
He's an owner-driver, become a 3-time NASCAR Sprint Cup champion. Tony Stewart wins it.
One of the greatest 10 race stretches in NASCAR history.
We move to the all or nothing segment here, which is the Texas Phoenix Homestead. Obviously, where the chase, and Tony, maybe you're a good one to ask too at this point, where how things are. And Jimmy, you guys have been in the pressure situation, either trying to flag it down or been out in front. Just maybe talk about those 3 tracks or where things are in the competition.
It's down to a few in most cases, you know, if you're in the deal or not, and understand if you're ahead or behind and kind of what needs to happen. So you just focus in on your competition at that point. Make sure that you know you're rested on your game. I mean, that's when the pressure really starts to sink in those final few races. And for me, you know, when I'm idle, my brain starts thinking about all the what ifs. And when I'm in the car and occupied, I'm just fine. So I've found those last few weeks to be a little more challenging than most would say, maybe, or admit at least, because you know, there's a lot going on, and you're working hard to you know, fulfill the dream of being a champion. So it gets a bit stressful at the end.
Let's go to the Texas track. Greg, how about a thought on that and how that figures in? You have Texas, Phoenix, and then Homestead.
Yeah, I mean, Texas is a great track for us as an organization. We've won a lot of races there, and you know, when they're in the spring, going back, you know, the lot has changed with their aero package and that. So we don't exactly know how the track's going to be or how it's going to react when we go back there, but that will be, you know, you're getting down to the last 3, so that'll definitely be a key player, you know, in finalizing this thing and who's going to be, you know, a contestant at Phoenix and Homestead.
Jeff, you had a Texas memory, I recall.
I do?
With a few of them, but this one with Jeff Burton, is that the one?
That.
Yeah, remember that one? Do they respect you a little more for your 4 championships and the fact you've been around?
Obviously not. Not that day. Yeah, I mean, hey, things are going to happen. You know, you get heated, especially. I mean, in that situation, we were having a frustrating season, and things weren't really going well for either one of us. So, I mean, heck, we were sitting there battling for 15th or something that day, and wrecked one another under caution. Well, I mean, I got wrecked, but you know, it happens, and sometimes it's you make a mistake. Other times you just have a heated moment that you know, kind of lose your cool, and it's happened to a lot of us. And sometimes you got to show your displeasure.
I think and hope that Jeff of old will come back with the stash. I do. I think it can happen.
And just for the background, the bet...
Get back to pushing people, getting out, fighting. You look so much cooler fighting with a mustache.
Yeah. Nobody has a mustache, so you would have to kind of bring them back in style. Jeff, just give the fans, I'm sure they're aware, the background on the bet with your crew chief and crew about...
Well, I mean, just over the years, I've had fans, other competitors, just saying, you know, you need to bring back that mustache, the mullet, the whole thing, the rainbow color, you know, paint scheme, the whole thing. And I think that... you know, I always laughed about it. And then we were having a conversation in our hauler about a month ago talking about the chase. And then somebody, I don't know, I was looking on Twitter, somebody had written something about a mustache. And I said, man, if we make this thing, I'm going to bring back the mustache. And then my crew chief said, nope, if you do that, I'll shave my head. So supposedly he's got a shaved head now, too.
Okay.
But, you know, so when it was over, when Richmond was over, my wife sent out a tweet about, oh, no, Jeff said he's bringing back that mustache. And it just kind of took a life of its own. It was, so it's coming. It's coming slow.
Up next, it was the tightest points battle in NASCAR history. We relive last year's chase showdown between Tony Stewart and Carl Edwards. And this year's chase class looks ahead. Welcome back to the House of Blues and NASCAR Contenders Live.
35 races over 10 months at 21 different speedways have set the stage for the most hotly contested championship battle in 30 years of NASCAR racing.
Edwards leads lap 1. That's 1 bonus point toward the championship.
Keep doing what you're doing, bud. You're pulling away. Nice work. We got a big hole in the center of the grill. The grill screen's all punched out of it.
Everything's going as smooth as it could for Carl Edwards. He's out front.
Where's he running, Jason? He's pretty good about anywhere. Oh, yes, this is not over.
Here comes Tony underneath Carl Edwards.
Too wide with the 99.
Let's stay focused here. Big picture now.
We're good. I'm good.
4 wide. How about that? Tony Stewart all the way down to the apron.
He was 9th for the restart. 2 laps, he's 3rd.
Just take a deep breath, guys. We come from a lot further back than that.
Tony Stewart makes a 3-wide move. Up the banking he goes, and he'll pick them off 3 at a time.
Watch your mirror here.
Still there. He's behind. Right on you.
The gamble, can they make it to the end on fuel? They're going for it.
You're doing all you can here, but we need that position, buddy.
Edwards gets a little bit physical, and he comes away with the number 2 position.
Now, since Edwards has taken over the 2nd spot, the championship points dead even.
One of the greatest championship drives in NASCAR history.
Tony Stewart comes across the line victorious.
Take a look back at Homestead last year and the way it wound up. As an observer, what'd you take away from that? The finish last year at Homestead. The way it came down to.
It was pretty amazing. I was kind of keeping up with it, as a race fan. I'm looking at the order and I'm like trying to figure out in the math. I think they tied, but what happened? And obviously we, they told me that Tony won the race and the championship. So I mean that's the ultimate way to go out is to win the race and the championship. You don't share the spotlight with anyone. It's your day and the whole off season is yours. And so that's kind of an epic finish that you like to have as a driver.
We had some troubles in the race and we're laps down, so I was getting full-on play-by-play by Chad and what was taking place, and I couldn't believe the twists and turns the night went on and the ability to predict the light mist and hit pit road and get fuel. Like the whole deal was unbelievable. Not to mention he was just flying around the track too.
And Tony, obviously you were going to win, but you still the way the points were, right? We didn't know where Carl.
Yeah, I mean we knew through the week of what the scenarios were and where we had to be, and it was still just one of those nights that there was so much that happened during the race that there was 5 nights worth of drama with rain and pit strategy and saving fuel and damage and all that. I mean, there was plenty of drama in one race to last for 4 or 5.
That was great. It was a great finish in all sports.
What stood out to me was the first few laps of the race where you got a drive shaft piece to the front end of the car, and I thought it was over. So I think it was 5. You're right. There was 5 nights of drama.
Somebody's career.
It's never wrong. Go ahead, Greg.
I didn't do the math right because I thought Carl had won. I didn't know they were tied, and I didn't know exactly what the points were anyway. But I knew it was close. But
you mean to tell me you were doing math inside your car?
Well,
no wonder I can't beat you.
I told you I wasn't. Okay, yeah, I was.
Pull over and get a calculator out. Figure out who's ahead here. All right, throw the green.
2 plus 2 is 4. So anyway,
it was like 400 laps.
I didn't know who had led the most laps and who didn't. But I thought that if Tony won and Carl finished second, that Carl still won the championship. I didn't know.
Yeah, it was tough to. Yeah.
But anyway, it came down. It was amazing the finish.
At the end of the day, it pissed Carl off so bad he didn't even come back.
All right. Go ahead, Junior.
Yeah, I don't remember much about it because me and Ryan Newman were racing like we were running for the championship. So I think we were in 11th place and running each other in the fence last lap.
Matt?
Martin and I were racing each other all day for, I think, 3rd or 4th or something like that, and I just remember about the 4th time Tony passed me, I knew that he was going to be hard to beat. He kept having some problems and come from the back, and the way he was driving that car was amazing. He'd go into 3 on the bottom, almost down by the apron, and he'd slide up all the way up to the very top like a dirt track and grab the cushion and keep going and never hit the fence. So it was a amazing comeback for the problems they had and driving all the way up through there and winning that race. It's pretty exciting.
I'm still trying to picture in my mind Boyer adding in his car. But they made this point system so they go by 1 so you can use your fingers.
All mine are on the steering wheel. I'm out of control.
You can still look at them and count them though. I think the thing that taught me the most was just win. I mean, if winning takes a lot out of the equation. You don't have to add or anything in your car if you collect the most points.
I thought it was interesting that they ran first and second all night and that Tony had to come from the back like 4 times. It just shows you what guys like Tony and champions are capable of when the money's on the line.
I just the way it ended, as strong as Tony was, as strong as Carl was, but for Tony just to, dominate there the last few races and get all them points was really impressive.
Well, I'm going to switch gears. I mean, we all know what he did was amazing. Tony Stewart, I don't. You guys need to understand. I mean, this guy's one of the greatest drivers I think there's ever been. I'm not sucking up to you, Smoke. I'm just telling it like it is.
He's trying to be nice.
You got AJ Foyt, you got Mario Andretti, and as far as I'm concerned, when you see all the stuff that I've known Tony for a long time. We've had our run-ins, we've had our great battles, but I respect this guy so much because I know what kind of background he came from. There's not another guy on this stage that has done what this guy has done. It's amazing.
Tony, I think it's the first head game from the wild card guy, right?
We've had our head games, man. We're over that
You're
now.
over that. All right, lightning
We're both
round.
too old to even remember all the head games we played with each other.
Stay tuned for more NASCAR Contenders Live from the House of Blues in Chicago. Welcome back to NASCAR Contenders Live from the House of Blues.
The fans who have been great enough to come out and on Facebook and Twitter, and we have Kim, Miss Sprint Cup. Kim, go ahead.
This one actually comes from Twitter. We had a fan tweet us a question at JGR112018. Fan wants to know from each of you, who is your biggest competition out of the contenders?
Biggest competition. Denny, you want to start?
Martin Truex Jr.
Really? Okay.
Everybody.
He's running for office later. No.
I don't know how you go against 5-time here.
Oh, what? Okay.
I don't know how you go against this guy, man. In the chase, he won 5 races last year. So.
I can't pick one. There's no way. I mean, any one of these guys are going to win it.
Who do you got to beat or keep from beating? Anybody that knows me or met me, they would know that I just got to keep from beating myself, and I might have a chance at it. So I'm my biggest competition, I would say.
I think all the guys that have won championships know how to get it done. They go with a little more confidence.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of got to go with everybody answer, but I think Dale Jr., the way they've been finishing races this year and been real competitive.
You just wanted them to cheer, right?
Get some Twitter followers.
Dale Jr. got some new shoes. They're cheering. Right? It's like you're behind the 88 and you're like, God, don't spin this guy out. How are we going to get out of the track? We passed him at Martinsville for the win. I had people waiting in my driveway afterwards. I'm going to go with everybody because I think anybody can put together 10 races and make it happen.
Even Clint, you think?
Well, Clint and himself.
Okay.
There's a couple of us in that car.
There is 13 of us up here, right? I mean, it's a tough one to call. I think all 12, but if I had to pick, it'd be those 3 guys in the end down there.
Okay, top 3.
Definitely not Clint.
Great job.
This is the first time, by the way, in history that we've had all of these guys in one place, and it might be the last time with Clint. Okay. But
thank you guys for coming out.
You see
Appreciate
how great
it.
they are.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
The chase drivers.
We are so glad you joined us for NASCAR Contenders Live. Based on what we've seen in the regular season, you cannot count anyone out of this championship picture. Just ask Jeff Gordon. The chase begins now, and Speed will have you covered every step of the way.